Here we have the roots, trunks, divisions, chords, and branches. Coming to the roots, we have C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1 roots. Yeah, and these roots gives rise to trunks, which divides into divisions, and which unite to form the chords, and which gives rise to the branches. Here, the C5 and C6 roots unite to form the upper trunk, whereas the C7 alone forms the middle trunk, whereas C8 and T1 unite to form the lower trunk. This is the upper trunk, middle trunk, and the lower trunk. Right? These are the trunks. Coming to the divisions, we have each trunks gives rise to anterior and posterior divisions. Anterior and posterior of the upper trunk, anterior and posterior of the middle trunk. And coming to the lower trunk, it also gives rise to the anterior and posterior divisions. But for our convenience sake, first we write about the posterior and then the anterior. It also gives us to the same anterior and posterior, but we're just writing it the posterior first and the anterior second. I'll give the name labeling at the last. Okay, for now just imagine which is what and all. And coming to this divisions which form the chords, the anterior divisions of upper and middle trunk unite to form the lateral chord. Anterior divisions of upper and middle trunk unite to form the lateral chord, whereas the all posterior divisions, which means the posterior divisions of upper, middle, and lower trunk, unite to form the posterior chord. Here you go, all the posterior divisions. I said the anterior division we have written on this side, right? Only the anterior division of the lower trunk alone forms the medial chord. That's all about the chords, the lateral, medial, and posterior chords we have. And all the chords gives rise to the certain branches. Branches are also given by trunks, and this is the lateral chord. The lateral chord ends with the last branch called the medial root of median nerve and lateral root of median nerve. This is the median nerve formation. I'll tell you it later. Yeah. The first one is the lateral chord, the second one is the posterior chord, whereas the last one is the medial chord. And coming to the branches now, the roots doesn't give any branches, whereas also the roots they are interconnected to each other. See, this the thing that I drawn in the light yellow color. It is called the long thoracic nerve, which connects these all roots that I have drawn right now. And coming to the branches we can start it from the roots. The roots gives rise to three branches. The first branch is now to serratus anterior, and second branch is now to rhomboids, and third branch is branches to longus colla and scalene muscles and branch to phrenic muscles. These are not shown in the diagram, but I'm telling you so that you can remember. C5, C6, C7 we can say for now to serratus anterior. For now to rhomboids, it is also called the dorsal scapular now. The root is C5. And for the branches to longus colla and scalene muscles, from C5 to C8, all the roots. And the branch to phrenic now, it has a C4 root. That's all about the branches from the roots. About the trunks, only the upper trunk gives the branches, two branches those are. The first one is the suprascapular now, and the second branch is now to subclavius. These are the two branches that are given only by the upper trunk, not about the all trunks, only the upper trunk. And coming to the branches of the chords, we have lateral chord, medial chord, and the posterior chord, right? First, coming to the lateral chord. The lateral chord gives rise to three branches, L, M, and L. All the three branches have the root values of C5 to C7, that which means C5, C6, and C7 they includes. The first branch is the lateral pectoral now, and the second branch is the musculocutaneous now, and the last branch is continuous as the lateral root of median now, which is the lateral root of median now. And coming to the branches of the medial chord, we have the first branch is medial pectoral now, and the second branch is medial cutaneous nerve of arm, and the third branch is medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, and then we have the branch for ulnar nerve, and finally it continues as the medial root of median nerve. And now I said earlier I said I will say it later. Now I'm telling the upper chord, that is the lateral chord, continues as the lateral root of median now, and the medial cord continues as the last branch giving the medial root of median now. The lateral root of median now and medial root of median now unite to form the median now, right? Yeah, that's a formation of the median now. And we have another cord, right? That is the posterior cord. It also gives rise to five branches: the upper subscapular now to latissimus dorsi, lower subscapular axillary now, and it continues as the radial now. That's all about the branches it was giving. I'll give the labeling later and I'll add it to you. Have the roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and branches. I can recap you for you again. The C5, C6, C7, C8, and T1 roots are involved in the formation of the brachial plexus. The roots C5, C6 unite to form the upper trunk. The C7 root alone forms the middle trunk, whereas the C8 and T1 roots unite to form the lower trunk. All the trunks give rise to the anterior and posterior divisions individually, whereas these divisions forms the cords. The cords are the lateral, posterior, and the medial cords. The first anterior cords, anterior divisions of upper and middle trunk unite to form the lateral cord, whereas the posterior divisions of all the trunks unite to form the posterior cord. And the leftover division is what? The anterior division of the lower trunk, which alone forms the medial cord. And these cords also gives rise to several branches. The branches all given by roots, trunks, and cords. And before that, all the roots are united by the long thoracic nerve. The innervated by the long thoracic nerve. Coming to the branches of them, the roots gives some branches, and the trunks and the cords. Coming to the branches of the roots, the first branch is the natus serratus anterior, and then natus rhomboidus, and then branches to longus colli and scalene muscles, and also a branch to the phrenic muscle. That's all about the branches of the roots. Coming to the branches of the trunks, only the upper trunks gives the branches. Here you can see I have drawn the two branches. The first branch is the suprascapular nerve, and the second branch is the natus subclavius. Only the upper trunk gives the branches. And coming to the cords, we have the lateral, posterior, and medial cord. Every cord gives rise to branches. And let me tell you in detail. The lateral cord gives rise to uh, three branches, which includes the lateral pectoral nerve, and then the second one is the musculocutaneous nerve, and the third one is lateral root of median nerve. And I'll tell about the more median nerve formation. Wait, and then the posterior cord. No, first you have to discuss about the medial cord. It gives rise to the medial pectoral nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, and then the ulnar nerve, and it continues as the medial root of median nerve. The lateral cord, it continues as after giving the two branches. The last branch is the lateral root of median nerve. This lateral root of median nerve, along with the medial root of median nerve, unite to form the main median nerve, which innervates the upper limb. Okay, that's all about the median nerve formation. And then this is about the brachial plexus. And about the posterior cord, it also gives rise to five branches: the upper subscapular nerve, and the nerve to latissimus dorsi, lower subscapular nerve, the axillary nerve, and it continues as the radial nerve. That's all about the branches and all. And the blood supply of brachial plexus is by the vertebral artery and thyrocervical trunk with its branches. The suprascapular and transverse cervical arteries supply blood to the brachial plexus. These are the very important to the brachial plexus. That's all about the blood supply. And I guess I covered almost everything. And coming to the clinical anatomy, you have the Erb's paralysis. I'll tell you in detail. Let me draw it down for you. Here we have, this is the anterior division, this is the posterior division. I'm drawing a line diagram, and these two unite. This is the roots, this is the C5 root, and this is the C6 root. Okay, here the C5 and C6 unite to form the upper trunk, right? The upper trunk has the anterior and posterior divisions. And here this point, this is the upper trunk. In the upper trunk, it gives us two branches. I told you, right? The suprascapular now and the now to subclavius. This point is called the Erb's point, and which the palsy or the paralysis of the arm caused by the injury of the upper trunk of brachial plexus is called the Erb's paralysis. This is a clinical anatomy which is very important. We also have Klumpke's paralysis or Klumpke's palsy. It is due to the injury of the lower trunk of the brachial plexus causing the paralysis of the hand muscles. And this Erb's point is very important. This is the Erb's point. That's all about the clinical anatomy. I covered almost all the brachial plexus, right? Thank you, guys. If you find this informative, do subscribe.